powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, it's Football at 4.
Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by the Gallery Bar, Book, and Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Go to the Gallery in Ocean Casino Resort to go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's get into Football at 4. Adam Caplan is here. A couple of minutes to kind of look over all the final moves, dot the I's, cross the T's. But I think we have to start. Jalen Reagor, by the way, it looks like he's staying on the 53-man roster. So we'll start with Reagor and that whole situation. Adam, there was some thought that there were some calls coming in on Reagor. Did they just not get something they liked? Did they decide at the last minute, no, we're better off with them? Jalen Reagor looks like he's on the 53.
He is. No, we know that for a fact. Jalen Reagor is on the what we call the. There's never a final 53. So people say that they would be wrong. It's called the initial 53. Reagor's on it. There's going to be a surprise who's going to make it. I put something out a half an hour ago. Unless my information's wrong, and I don't think it is, barring a surprise. Undrafted free agent Josh Sills should be on the roster. I'm stunned by this one. No one had that. I defy anyone to show me. And they're when they did their own mock 53, like Moshe and I did, if you could prove it to me, you had Josh Sills on your 53, folks, I'm giving you a shout-out, I promise you, because that is unbelievable. If you could prove it, though, you got to prove it.
Well, if you had Josh Sills in training camp, let me know.
Yeah, right. I mean, David Sills from your school, West Virginia, was with the Giants and is still trying to make it. I believe they're going to wind up, if it all works out, 3 undrafted free agents that make it. Reed Blankenship should be on the roster with Josh Jobe. Now, I would tell you, just because you're on the roster today doesn't mean you won't be cut tomorrow. So
absolutely.
These agents, when they announce stuff on Twitter, the guys who are inexperienced, they say, oh, my guys made the roster. Oh, yeah, well, let's see what happens tomorrow. We don't wish for anyone to be cut, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Josh Sills is a undrafted guy from Oklahoma State. A guy like Jack Anderson did not make the team. A little bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, we had Anderson on it. Mike, there was some minor you can't call Josh Sills making a major surprise, but it's a surprise. There's no doubt about it. Now, again, they haven't announced it, so I got a tip an hour ago that there's a very good chance he'll be on it, and Stoutland loves him. I'm like, oh, listen, when it's Jeff Stoutland, I don't mind argue. Yep. This guy's unbelievable. But why the heck were we not talking about him? That's bad, man. Me and Moshe, we need to go back to reform school with that one. If this kid makes it, I'll be happy for the kid. But I'm like, why do we not know that? Anyway, we'll see.
Well, obviously this morning, Anthony Harris was released by the team. And everybody's saying, all right, Tart yesterday, Harris today. What's happening here? And then about 5 minutes later, Ann Rappaport tweeted, shocker. The Saints are trading Chauncey Gardner Johnson. Shocker it was. Kind of bring us through the whole safety situation and how they landed Chauncey Gardner Johnson.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Moshe had a great note. And I kind of knew what he was getting at, and we're gonna do a live stream later today, and we're going to explain what he was thinking. So Jeff said, I don't know, like a month ago, he goes, anyone else other than Marcus Epps would not be surprised if they're no longer with the team. That included Anthony Harris. It's pretty remarkable what has happened here at the safety position. Completely revamped. It's not what anyone saw coming into camp. Reed Blankenship, no one talked about him at the start of camp. We started talking about him 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's on the team as far as we know. We're not sure about Kavon Wallace yet. Chauncey Gardner Johnson, that's the big one. We're going to get to him in a second. Anthony Harris is gone. Anthony Harris never played to the level they expected. This is another Jonathan Gannon guy who Gannon wanted, and he did not play to the level that they were expecting. You believe it? I mean, that's what's happened.
So they let go of Tart and Harris, 2 veteran guys, and they go out and get a young player in Gardner Johnson. What does he bring? Doesn't have a lot of safety experience. Only 80 snaps. He's been mostly a corner, a slot guy. So what are they hoping to get here?
Yeah, well, the reason why, Mike, that they've done that is because he was a safety in college. He had unique coverage skills. So they moved him to the slot, and he was their primary nickel. But because he was considered a starter, because in nickel in the NFL these days you're playing well over 50% of the snaps. But his natural position is his free safety. So that's what he'll play for the Eagles. He'll line up there, and if a team goes 4 wide, the Eagles can go double slot with he and Maddox. He's a coverage safety. He's a terrific football player. Plays with an edge. Some people call him a big mouth, whatever you want to call him. He's just a really good player. He'll challenge his teammates. I don't know if every teammate loves him because he's a motor mouth, but there's some great tape on him out there of him running his mouth, but he's a terrific football player, and he's going to fit in well. And look, this safety position for the Eagles, Mike, it's completely blown up here. Yeah. And you mentioned Jaquiski Tartt. I mean, wow, Jaquiski Tartt now. Just another guy. Mike, it never worked from day one, and they had high hopes for him to push Anthony Harris, and how about both of those guys being gone? It's what it is.
Right. I mean, at the moment that the news went out there that Harris got released, I mean, obviously everyone's initial thought is, all right, what's going on here, right? I mean, but when you saw Anthony Harris did not make the team, was the thought that they were, hey, maybe it's somebody in-house, or was it that that something's coming here, today?
Oh, no. Well, okay, so I have to mention something, so I forgot about this. So I mentioned on your show last week or two Fridays ago about the Eagles are not done at safety, they're going to do something, which, I mean, anyone could have figured that out, but we knew they were working on something. We didn't know what it was. Now you know, but so people kept asking me, okay, who's the player? I didn't know. I just knew they were looking to reshape the safety position, but as we said on our show that dropped early this week, I mean, how many teams are going to trade a veteran safety? But this is similar, Mike, to the situation with Ronald Darby. Ronald Darby was a bad system fit for Buffalo in 2017, so for Sean McDermott's defense, the Eagles took advantage of that. And then with this one, they just had a contract breakdown.
Right. I was going to say, Adam, I'm getting questions about why did the Saints make this deal? What was the Saints' mindset?
I'm getting that. They completely disagreed with the agent. They saw him specifically as a certain way. The Saints saw him as a nickel corner. Now, he would have been the highest paid slot corner in NFL history by far if they would have gotten it done. Now, the Eagles are looking at him mostly as safety. He may have to play inside when needed. That's football. Sometimes you do things. But they want him as a safety. Why? Because they don't have anyone else. They'll split their safeties between he and Epps. Epps is a good football player that most people don't talk enough about. That's where it's at.
Adam Caplan, Football 4 Inside the Birds podcast. They're going to have a live Inside the Birds coming up here shortly. And, Adam, what does this move mean for where this roster is in your mind? They've got some tweaks coming between now and next Sunday. But where does this roster, in your mind, ultimately put them? Are they
really good,
a wild card team, a division champion, a deep level team? Is this a Super Bowl contender? Where does this 53 sit for you?
Yeah, we're going to do our picks next week, but I'll tell you this: if they don't win this division, first of all, odds are that it'll probably be them because we haven't had a repeat winner since 2004, which happened to be the Eagles with their 3 in a row. So. Yeah, they're the best team in that division. I mean, Greg Cosell told us that a month ago, 5 weeks ago. We agreed with him then. We agree now. I talked to Greg about Gardner Johnson this morning. Yeah, it's a really good roster, Mike. And, if everybody's healthy, of course. Now they've got a terrific free safety. Really, you just call him a safety because he's going to be a movement guy. He's not going to line up in one place. He's a coverage guy. He was a little bit more. He's more power-packed than Epps is. I know Epps has tried to rebuild his body, but Gardner Johnson's a little bigger. It is amazing, though. Think about it, Mike. Over the last 2 years, they're all new players. They got Slay 2 years ago. Epps had not been a full-time starter. This will be his first year as a full-time starter, though they got him 3 years ago, but this is his first year as a starter. Gardner Johnson's new, and Bradbury's new. Talk about reshaping.
Well, and Adam, not only did they reshape, they didn't give up a whole heck of a lot of draft capital. In fact, they have draft capital still and have reshaped. That is pretty.
Yeah, 2 firsts next year. Yeah, I mean, look, they could go for the quarterback next year if they feel that they need to. It's pretty remarkable what they've done here in this offseason. And it shows, once again, don't overreact if they don't do anything with the first week. They always have a plan.
Yeah. So 53 has to be in, and
they haven't announced it yet. No, it's in. They just everyone has been told. The transactions have been turned into the league. They just haven't announced it yet. Which they always do this. They always wait till after 4 o'clock.
Right. So between now and the 11th when they kick off, what do they still need to kind of tweak?
Well,
by the way, the Seahawks have just released J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. There you
go. No surprise. What could they use? They could use another safety. They certainly could. I would like to see a veteran safety backing up Gardner, Johnson, and Epps. Reed Blankenship's a very young guy. That's a lot to ask. So I'm wondering what this thing's going to look like. In the end, I think, by the way, Grant Calcaterra, barring surprise, should be on this team, I'm told. So that's another guy we did feel who would make the team. But they could certainly use a veteran safety because, again, it's always what happens if the starters get hurt. Who do you have at any position with experience who could come in and play?
Yeah. The receivers, Devin Allen, Deion Kane, they got released today. I guess a lot of that could be tied to what Rieger's ultimate future ends up being, but no surprise that neither of those guys made the team, right?
Yeah. It's funny. The Eagles just put a video out of the roster. It's actually hilarious. And Mike, as I'm scrolling through this, let's see if there are any surprises. Let's see if we'll see here if there are any surprises. No, Rieger's on it. Yeah, Rieger's on it, of course. Bradbury.
There's Sippos.
Yep.
I guess he's.
Yeah. No, we knew he would be because they didn't bring another. Josh Job's on it. Kevon Wallace. We didn't know that one. We weren't sure. He's on it. Blankenship, we got that right. He's on it. Patrick Johnson's on it. Davion Taylor is on it. Okay, we can put that out there.
Yep. There's Reed Blankenship. I just saw, and Calcaterra.
Josh Sills made it. Wow.
Yeah, you've got a couple surprise. Kerryon Johnson. There's Sills. They don't even have him in a uniform. They had him riding a bike.
Yeah, wow, Mike. Wow, 3 undrafted free agents made it.
Teron Jackson.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so yeah.
Jack Stoll and Grant Calcaterra.
Yeah, Grant Calcaterra made it. He's athletic. They didn't want to risk it. Now we'll see what happens when Teron Jackson. The kid that's on PUP, which is Tyree Jackson. We'll see what happens. Yep. So that's it, Mike. There you go. There's your Eagles.
There we go. 53 is initially set. We still have some tweaks and things
tomorrow.
That can happen.
Great point, Mike. And we got to remind everyone, nothing that happens today.
What's that time tomorrow? I saw you tweet that out.
12 p.m. Eastern. Yes, 12 p.m. Eastern. Waiver claims. So we've seen this happen. It breaks the players' hearts because they think they've made it. These young kids, and they wind up not making it.
Right. So Josh Sills, Josh Joby, and Reed Blankenship. Those three.
Josh Jobe.
Yes. They have made the 3 undrafted rookie free agents have made the initial 53. Blankenship, Jobe, and Sills are there. So there you go. All right. Inside the Birds will have more. New podcast coming out. They got a live thing coming up here. So check out all the Inside the Birds platforms. Adam Caplan and, of course, Jeff Mosher's on tomorrow's show here on the Sports Bashes Football at 4. Thanks, Adam.
All right, man. Thanks.